Two. Hey, it's your guy, Pastor Kelvin and Lady Nicole, here with another episode of A Pastor's Perspective. Yeah, I'm sorry I paused. We're supposed to be focused on the podcast, and my wife is on the cell phone, and she missed her cue to come in.
You didn't give me a cue.
Well, you wasn't looking at me. So let's do it again. It's your guy, Pastor Kelvin and
Lady Nicole.
There we go.
But you didn't do that last time.
You wasn't looking.
I didn't have to look. I didn't need.
What a way to start season 2, family. It's us. It's your guy. It's your lady. We're back. We're back on the podcast Chitlin Circuit. So glad to be with you guys. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. It's been a minute, Lady Nicole. What's been going on with you?
Just doing life, all the things.
Just doing life and all the things.
Yeah.
All the things like what?
Like life, ministry and that type of stuff. What have you been up to? Because you're the busy one.
Man, look, I've been doing.
You're the busy one out here in these streets.
I've been doing everything that you can think of: pastoring, counseling, praying, preaching, working, selling T-shirts, socks, underwear. Doing what I got to do to make things work in these streets. Because it ain't easy out here for a guy. It's hard out here for a preacher.
Really?
Well, that's how I feel.
Okay.
But other than that, everything's been going well. Lord's blessing our ministry. Lord blessed our podcast. I know you guys missed us for a while. We just kind of disappeared and fell off the earth. But
You disappeared.
what you mean I disappeared?
You disappeared.
You see me, don't you?
I can see you.
So how did I disappear?
You disappeared.
I didn't
You
disappear.
got busy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have a place to live. Bishop.
Nope, not a good one.
Bishop.
Good try, though.
Bishop Thomas said, if I'm not working, then I'm home too much. If you could see the expression. Well, where were you?
What do you mean?
What you been doing?
What do you mean, what have I been doing?
What you been doing?
Waiting on you.
You been waiting on me?
Mm-hmm.
Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage.
Oh, that's right.
So anyway, podcast family, it's good to be back on after a long time. So we just going to go ahead and dub this season 2 of Built to Last podcast with PK and LN. Listen, we hope that you have already subscribed. If you have not, do us the huge honor of heading over to where your finer podcasts are there and subscribe and download. You can find us on Google Podcasts. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can also go over to our church app and download and subscribe. And please leave us comments and commentary on the information that we are providing. Hopefully, it has been a blessing to you. So, Ellen, you ready to get down?
Let's go.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to do this thing. So, this season is really, I don't want to give the theme away just yet, but as I was thinking a few days ago at work about the podcast, I came up with kind of a theme that we're going to be doing, and maybe I'll give it at the end of the season, maybe I won't, I don't know. So everything that we discuss over the next several episodes are going to tie into that theme. But today, we want to talk about I need a break. Already? Already? I need a break. So I'm going to start with the story my wife didn't know I was going to tell. And we're going to...
Oh, boy.
I hope it goes well, but I'm working on my storytelling skills anyway. So about I don't know how long ago it was. I was at work, and I was working, and I came home at a certain time, and my wife wasn't there. I walk in the house, and I go in my room downstairs. I shut the door. I cut on my television like I do most nights because I need about an hour or 2 hours to kind of just decompress. And all of a sudden, I get a text message that says, "I'll be back tomorrow." And it was from my wife. Just, "I'll be back." And it wasn't tomorrow. It was a day and a half later, y'all. She came back to see me. Elian.
I came back to see you.
Well, you came back to see your kids. I don't know if you came back to see me, but you showed
funny.
up. You showed up.
Came back home.
You came back home. You came back home. What was that all about?
What do you mean?
I mean, why would you just disappear?
Because I needed a break.
What you needed a break from?
We don't want to get into all that.
What you mean? That's the whole point of I need a break. What you need a break from?
Honestly?
Yeah.
You want to know why I needed a break?
I asked the question.
Well, I found myself in a place.
Yeah.
How old was I? 46. I'm 47 now.
Almost 50.
And I was tired, and I didn't realize that I was tired. I started getting sick. I started having headaches. I started becoming dizzy, and I just was not sure what was going on with me. I went and I saw my doctor, and the first thing she asked me was, are you stressed? And are you getting enough sleep? What does your rest look like? And I sat in the office, and I kind of broke down. I cried, and I was like, I don't know. I knew that my sleep wasn't good. With me, switching up jobs and trying to adjust. I honestly tried to adjust my schedule to yours.
That's impossible.
Which is a big mistake because of the way that you work. And with me being more of a morning person, I was getting up super early, but going to bed at maybe 9 or so to get enough rest. Well, at this time, my sleep was just completely off, and I just wasn't sleeping well. And when I don't get enough sleep, I just don't function like I should. And so I got sick. I started getting sick. I started feeling bad, and I was irritable, and I was,
Yeah.
And
I can attest to that.
I just wasn't sure what was going on. And I got a little nervous. I got kind of afraid because I just didn't know what I was dealing with. And one of the nurses from the church that I had, had a conversation with, her first question was, her statement was, "It sounds like you're stressed." And I was like, okay. And I guess sometimes you just go on and on and on, and you just do what you have to do and don't really consider, or sometimes you just put yourself on the back burner because you got to get things done, right? And that's kind of where I was at that time. I was ill. I wasn't feeling good. And I knew that if I didn't make some kind of change, that it just wasn't going to be good for me. And I had a, an intervention with my children. It came from them.
Okay.
Jordan hit me up first, and Jordan is our oldest, our daughter, who's 20 in her early 20s, and she came to me and she took my phone and she went to my calendar and she scheduled mandatory rest weekends once a month on my calendar. And I looked at her and I was like, "You don't tell me what to do. Like, you ain't my mama." And she was like, "Mama, you just don't rest." She said, "You don't know what it means to rest." She's like, "Even when you're home and you're supposed to be doing nothing, you're doing nothing looks like laundry, or you're doing nothing looks like cooking or cleaning or something." She's like, "You just don't know how to sit down and do nothing." And I think my children have mastered that. They know how to do nothing really well, and they just know how to chill. They know how to chill. But for some reason, I just feel like I always have to be up doing something. And I think a lot of that comes from me being or having been a stay-at-home mom for so long, and still almost having those feelings of I'm not bringing anything to the table financially. So there's still a little bit of me that feels like I have to prove that I'm doing something to contribute to the house.
Who are you proving it to?
Sometimes I feel like I have to prove that to you.
Huh.
And so my son, he got a hold of me. It was a separate time. And he sat down and he was like, Mom, sometimes you just have to take a break. And he gave the analogy. He likened it to, because he's such, exercise type of guy. And he was like, when we work out and we work out hard and we do a lot of weight training, but the coaches don't allow us to do, so much in the week. You have to take time to rest, to repair your muscles, and you come back stronger. He was like, maybe you're just not taking time to rest so that you can come back stronger. And then
this was your baby boy.
This was my baby boy. And then Jordan happened to come in the room at this time, and he's sitting there, and I have a picture of them both sitting at the foot of my bed, looking at me, telling me, Mama, you need to rest. And at that moment, I thought, I guess I need to do something different. And I've been just trying to take that time to just get away. Like if I get frustrated, I try not to get frustrated. I try not to get aggravated. If I feel myself getting annoyed, I'll just kind of remove myself out of a situation so that it just doesn't get ugly. Because with my blood pressure having been up, and those types of things, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with that type of thing. So that's why I left. And I came back feeling a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. I'm processing this for a second.
Okay.
You just disappeared.
I did. Did you feel some type of way?
No, I was kind of glad you was gone.
You were glad that you were glad that I was going. Why? Because we were kind of beefing that day, I think.
I don't know if it was just beefing, but I kind of enjoy when you're gone.
Wow, nice.
No. I mean, when you're just like when you were going on the trip to do some training.
I mean, make it plain, friend. I'm trying to help me to understand what you mean.
Because I can hear the women in the background. I can just hear tears coming. I can just hear the crying, and I can see the tears, and I can see the relation. And I believe your story. We're gonna dig in that a little bit more because I'm joking a little bit, but I can see the tears, and I can see the head shaking. Like, yes, yeah. I understand what you mean, Lady Nicole. But what about us fellas? We need a break.
Okay.
But we don't get them.
Okay.
We don't get them. But I do think, like that week you were gone to do your training, I knew about it. It was planned, and I was really looking forward to you going.
Okay.
Because I got to leave the socks on the floor, and nobody was nagging me about them.
So it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with you.
Me and you, because you weren't there to bother me about my socks.
I don't bother you about your socks no more.
Since you took your first leave of absence.
No, since
leave of absence.
No, since I picked my battles. That's not one that I really care that much about anymore. If you want to leave your socks on the floor, then leave your socks on the floor.
Thank you.
When you're ready for your socks to get washed, you will put them in the dirty clothes.
Why can't you pick my socks up for me?
No, because I feel like if you want them if you put them on the floor, then you want them on the floor.
I feel like you should pick them up for me.
Nah.
I don't think that's fair.
You don't pick my socks up off the floor.
But I clean your car. It's see how it works? We take care of each other. But anyway, you distracted me from my story. So yeah, when you went, when I knew you were going, I was like, yeah, it was kind of a mellow week. I got a chance to exhale a little bit. I knew you were where you wanted to be, and then I also knew, because you weren't doing a whole lot of calling and texting, you were probably disconnecting and enjoying yourself. So that felt good. And so I was able to sit in my room, watch a little TV. Me and Jordan took care of each other. She said, well, Dad, I'm buying food tonight. That's when I got Chinese tomorrow. Then the next night we did, I don't know what it was, but we went back and forth for about 3 or 4. And it was
pizza.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know.
Everything y'all had no business eating.
Everything, but it was such a wonderful time in the Lord. It was just so relaxing. And I think we talk a lot about in our previous sessions about, especially if marriages are under duress. I believe unless it's toxic, where there's danger involved,
Yeah.
where where there is no true reconciliation, you need to do it. I think it's healthy to take a break.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to take a break.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to say, hey, I'm going away for, this is my Friday. I'll be back on Saturday. This is my Saturday. I'll meet you at church on Sunday. However it looks. Because I would like to say, because I want you to take a few moments to really, and I'll ask you a couple questions because I want you to really minister to that thing, to the ladies, and I'm going to come back to the guys in just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's healthy to realize that, you know what, my needing distance from you doesn't indicate I don't love you.
Yeah.
It just indicates I want to be the best I can for you, and I know I need some distance to decompress in order to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I didn't. The only thing that frustrated me was that I didn't know about it in advance.
I got you.
The fact that you did it, she coming back.
Yeah. I mean, we know that.
Yeah, you know who your big papa is, so you know where your health insurance is tied to. You coming back. So,
and I did feel some type of way. I think I was. I don't know. I think we had a little something. So I was kind of upset. I was kind of frustrated. And I wasn't going to leave. I wasn't going to go. Like, I had made up in my mind that it was my mandatory rest. That was my rest weekend that I had on the calendar, that Jordan put on the calendar for me. I don't think I discussed it with you.
Nope.
And so a part of me was like, let me go ahead and go. But then another part of me felt like, oh, this is pretty disrespectful. Like, how you just go up and leave and not even say anything? So I did have my moments. I didn't charge a credit card. I paid for it out of my own pocket.
You didn't charge my credit card?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Girl, take another one.
No, I would. And then I would have had to. Nah, I paid for it myself. So that was a part of it too, that I was like, that financial piece for me, I was like, man, that's gonna, pull some out of my my little stash that I have. But
it was worth it, right?
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it because you came back rested, and you came back nice and humble, and I forgive you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Really, though, I think we talk a lot about in relationships, date nights and vacations and taking time together. But I think we minimize how much over the course of years we do and how much we become, and how, on your jobs, you become this. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you're pretty much on call 24/7. If you're in leadership, you're 15 different things to 15 different people. And yeah, date nights are great where you kind of get a chance to connect and reconnect with each other and rekindle. But I think that balance is there. I think for me, Ellen, at this point, you just turned 47 and you just had a birthday. So happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you. Woo-hoo.
But what I want you to do, if you could, take a moment as you reflect. What are some indicators, maybe for some other wives, moms out there that they need? If you have maybe 4 or 5 things that you say, hey, these are some indicators that maybe you need to sit down with your spouse and say, hey, I love you, but I just need a minute for myself. Mm-hmm. What are some things that kind of for you that you would say at this point you may need to consider? And once again, guys, as we go into this podcast, we always want you to remember, we're just sitting down having a conversation.
Right.
We're not your therapists. We're not your counselors. We're just sharing some things that have happened with us that we believe are just worth sharing, that can be a blessing. So, go ahead, Ellen.
I think one of the first indicators that you are really needing a break is when everything that you love, like your family, your spouse, your children, every little thing like frustrates you. Every little thing annoys you. Anything your husband says or requests, it's just like, get out my face. Like, I think that's probably an indicator that you may just need a little break. You just may need a moment to kind of step back and just be yourself and get refreshed. Um, so when you find that you're just kind of frustrated, annoyed with everything, everything annoys you, everything aggravates you, everything frustrates you, you may need a break.
Yeah.
You may need a break.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, PK.
Yeah.
It's like, even on your job, for those that like work in corporate or have, you actually have a job that you get, some sort of sick pay or annual leave, and that you get leave. The job knows that at some point you need a vacation. You need time away. So what makes us think that that we don't just sometimes just need a break away, to just chill and to just do nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we just keep going and going and going like we're Energizer bunnies, like we are powered by batteries. And, until we just give out. And then when we give out, we're frustrated and aggravated and annoyed. So, I can just go on and on about that, but I'm a hush.
I don't think you should. I wanna kind of piggyback off of that for a minute, because something that you said, and I believe it or not, I was at work the other day, and I was talking with two of my peers, and they may hear this, and I was sharing with them about, you got to take a break. If all you're doing is work, you're doing too much. And I shared with them the whole thing about, back when I was in my late 20s, I can remember, Jordan was born, so she was young, about when I was put in the hospital because of stress, and I thought I was having a heart attack based on what was going on. And my doctor told me, you got to do something about it, or you need to find something else to do. I want to say to everybody out there, it's okay to disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lady Nicole and I are preparing for our 9th annual Founders Day celebration, coming up here on September the 23rd. We do them every year on a Saturday, and we shut down service on Sunday. That's literally the one time of year that we don't pastor, we're not counseling, we're not taking phone calls. We shut down on that Saturday as soon as we leave, and we go somewhere. We try to. It's been a minute since we've done it. What, about 2 years? I don't know. It's been a while since we've been able to do it, or since I've taken the time to do it. But what the new crop of people that have come into our lives have shown us is that the same way we encourage them to disconnect, it's okay to miss a Sunday, to take a vacation with your family, that they're not going to fall out of fellowship with Jesus Christ if we're not here one Sunday as well.
Amen.
And if they do, then their relationship wasn't tied to Christ, it was tied to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so why am I saying all that? It's okay to disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to disconnect. I really believe it is hard sometimes, but I try to find moments that I can disconnect because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
It brings balance. And the fact that you needed to disconnect from you're still a wife, but to disconnect from those responsibilities for a moment, to disconnect from being a mom for a moment, to disconnect from being an administrator for a moment, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, it's beneficial for your mental health. It doesn't say this in the Bible, so I'm not trying to take it out of context, but the Bible even says that Jesus found time to steal away from everybody early in the morning just to be to himself, to be by himself, where he was just the son versus being the leader, right? And so if you are someone that's in charge, build your team so they don't have to have you there all the time. And if you're concerned it's going to fall apart, then you're building it wrong, right? If you're a wife and you've been in this thing for a long time, and I can't speak collectively, you'd have to come in and chip in with me on that one, LN. And at some point, he ain't going nowhere, she ain't going nowhere. It's just what it is. We're in this thing. And you need that time, right? True. The fact is I did miss you, but I wasn't lost without you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, my life kept going even though I knew you weren't there. But the fact that you weren't there was a blessing, because when you came back, you were in a better frame of thought and I was less frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And those types of things happen. So I just want to reinforce out of what you were saying initially, it's okay to disconnect. And Built to Last podcast family, make it all right for your loved ones to disconnect. Make it all right for them. Yeah, you're going to miss them. Yeah,
that's good.
I get into a routine. Yeah, I'm in a routine now where I come home And unless she's super tired, I get kind of annoyed about that. But she's early. I'm wound up when I come home from work, so I don't typically go to bed fast because of what I do for a living. And then if it's ministry really gets me keyed up, and it takes a while for me to wind down. Doesn't take that for Ellen. She winds down. Her mind winds down. But we've got to make it okay for them to be able to say, you know what, I need a moment. I need this time. Disconnect. Go do you. I'm going to go do me. And we'll get back together in a day or so and do a check-in, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you get to where you're going, just shoot me a text. Let me know you're all right.
Yeah.
And peace out. I'll see you back on Sunday, right?
And making it okay means that you trust that person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
At this point, 27 years in, I mean, listen. I'm going to go away for a little bit, but I'm coming back home. You know what I mean? My only agenda is to go somewhere and rest and to chill out.
Yep.
That's it. So, you know, you have to have that trust and that understanding, and not be so suspicious. You know, sometimes people just need a moment to just kind of get away.
And let's be devil's advocate for a moment, Ellen. And sometimes your spouse, just as much as you need a break from your spouse needs a break from you.
Yeah.
Right? He may be scared to tell you that. But as much as, and you know, I'm not taking away, I promise you I'm not taking away from what it is that you're saying as a woman of God, as a wife, as a mom. But I hear so often from the women of God, and I think we talked about it a little bit in the back, about I just need to, I've lost myself, and I hear all of those things. And I'm like, well, okay, I hope you go find yourself so that yourself can come back to yourself. And so, you know, and so we hope when y'all go away, you come back to yourself. I mean, I know it's funny sounding.
Shady.
But I'm not.
Okay.
I promise you, I really am not being shady. But that seems to be a common theme. And it's not just you that I hear from as a pastor. I mean, people, I can be at work and they start sharing that stuff with me.
Yeah.
So I can't escape it. But that's what, you're a pastor. Well, I'm all of this and I'm all of that. And he just doesn't understand. What should I do, Pastor? How do you handle it? You've been married for 27. Listen, sweetie, this is not new to you. How you're feeling is how you're feeling. You need a break. You need a break. You just need to take a moment, push pause. Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think?
I don't know. You took me off because you had me kind of giggling over here about the way that you communicated that.
Yeah, but I promise you I wasn't being shady. I tried to bring a little humor to it so it wouldn't seem like I was trying to throw shade. It's a common theme. And I think from the outside looking in, as a husband, as a man, as a pastor, y'all do a lot, and sometimes I think y'all women take on more than you have to, and you try to be more than you have to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wish I had an answer to help you on that, but I don't. You know, because quite frankly, the lion's share of, not all, but women of God that I come in contact with are strong-willed.
Yeah.
They're strong-minded. When they make up their mind, your husband could tell you the same thing, but it's not until you hear from the Lord yourself that you're going to listen. And then you're not going to come back and say, you told me that, husband. You're just not. And that's just generally speaking. So how do we help you, right? Because I know you need a break. I know you're tired. When I say, hey, stay in the bed and chill out, but you get up and you detailing your car, what am I supposed to do? You know, how do we help you?
I don't know. I don't know. For me, I guess it would just be understanding that, you know, when I communicate, or even, you know, sometimes when you pick up on, gosh.
It's good, right?
Yeah, I guess just understanding. You know, I would love for you to say, Nick, you need a break. Here's my card. Go get a room and get you some food and go in the room and chill out. I would love for you to say that.
That's difficult. You can say, Kelvin, I need your card so I can go to a room and chill out. But if I say, here's my card, go to a room, I'm going to show up at some point. I may not stay, but I'm going to show up for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do a drive-by.
And I'm going to leave you some food, too.
I'll be okay, too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. I'll leave you.
You know, but
Let you sleep.
so I think for me, when the kids came and they said, Mom, you need a break, you're tired, so and such and such. I don't know, I guess a part of me wanted to also hear it from you. I guess I wanted you to see that the same thing that they were seeing. And so I didn't know if it was just that, because I know sometimes you see, but you don't say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was that the case, or you just didn't want to be bothered, because sometimes you see stuff, but you just don't want to be bothered or don't want to address certain things.
Ask me why.
No, I don't want to ask you why.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I know that you don't.
No, I want to ask you why. So anyway.
I know you don't.
Anyways.
Keep on talking.
Just saying. And so, yeah, I don't know. You made me lose my train of thought just that quick.
Yeah, you were saying you see, but you don't say. You wanted me to kind of see what the kids saw, and you wanted me to say something similar.
Yeah. So what do I need? What would we need from you, or how can you help understand? Just to understand where we are, and just be supportive in that area.
So to our listening audience, welcome to Built to Last podcast with me, Pastor Kelvin, and Lady Nicole. If this is your first time listening, thank you for joining in with us on today. So it's going to sound like I'm defending something, but I'm not. So it's going to take me a mile to get to where I got to go, but I'm going to do it in a minute and a half. We talked maybe 5 years ago, I don't know if you remember this, about women of God needing a seventh day. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then a couple years, 2 or 3 years after that, we were on a podcast with Sister Regina, and we talked about how I can tell when it's time for you to chill out, or I can see, because it's just certain things about yourself that I can tell. You don't laugh. You kind of frowned up. Your face is, you just look like you're just unhappy. Typically, when you're happy, you're giggling, you're laughing, you're smiling, and there's just it's just what it is, right? I can say boo, and if you're Nicole, you're gonna laugh. It's nothing funny, but it's just you, because you like to giggle, just like our son. He likes to laugh, and I've said these things, and I've shared them, and I've said, you know what, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I don't know if it's the manner in which I've said it that stops you from receiving it. But after a while, I treat it like I do, for good or for bad, church folk. If I've shared with you the wisdom time and time again, but you can't hear me because you may say, well, it's how you said it. Well, it doesn't change the truth. We tell people all the time, eat the meat and spit out the bones. So after a minute, I'm not going to say a word. And I can see it, but I'm not going to say it. So how can we help? If you know you recognize it in yourself, just say what you need. So for me, unless you say, okay, Kelvin, I just need you to be honest with me. A, B, C, and D. That says to me, you're giving me the liberty to speak freely and honestly, with respect, about when it comes to you, because you're open to hear it. Most times, you don't want to hear it, so I don't say it. But God will tell you. Or God will use your children, who you like more than me. I'm not teasing you. She loved me, but she liked them cheering more than me now. But and they'll sit down and they'll tell you in their own terms what they see. And they'll listen, because your children know how to unwind. Your daughter knows. What is her Saturday? What does she call it? Her Sabbath.
Yeah.
My daughter, when she gets off work, guys, on Friday, she gets her work done. She goes into her room and she hibernates. It's Netflix, it's Amazon Prime, maybe some food, come downstairs, talk with us, and that's her day. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think at this point in our lives and our age, that we just got to do what we got to do. And so you don't need a I think it's in your mind. I don't think you need an affirmation from me. I think you just need to do what you got to do to be you, so you can stay centered and stay balanced. And I did it in 2 minutes instead of a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, at this point, I know you may frown up, you may look some type of way, you may act a little funny, but it's what it is. I mean, it's just it's what it is. So, yeah,
we need a break.
Yeah.
So how do we help our listening audience through what we've learned and understand? Ooh, men of God, you're not gonna die if she goes away for a while. Your house is not gonna burn down. The kids are not gonna kill you if you happen to have to keep your kids.
Imagine that.
Without,
because daddies don't babysit. Just saying.
If you, she used to tell me that.
Yeah, you don't babysit. You keep your kids.
Babysit the kids.
Don't babysit.
You want to babysit my kids?
Daddies don't mamas don't babysit. Keep your kids.
I may have just had a breakthrough. I just had a breakthrough. But you're not going to die if you send her away for a day or so and keep your kids, or just call your mama to come get them. However it works.
Lord have mercy.
You will not die if you give her a break. I'm a firm believer in this. First of all, they have to give themselves to the Lord. Because if you're not consistently giving God time, getting the so-called a break away from the family is not going to make much difference anyway. Because then you're just taking a nap and there's no balance. So you got to make sure you give God time. And there is no vacation from giving God time. No. I'm sorry. There is no, well, I'm going away and I'm not going to pray. The devil is a liar. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to read that. The devil is a liar. That keeps you balanced. Yeah. But,
we need Jesus now.
We need him. The whole point was, though, it's okay, men of God, to give her a break. And conversely, women of God, it's okay to give him one, too.
What you need a break from?
From y'all.
For what?
Man, let me tell you something.
Don't do that.
In marriages, long term, factually speaking, who's the first to die?
I don't know.
The husband. Because we go on, we work. We don't stop. We work because that's how we're programmed. We can be frustrated, tired. We're going to work. We're going to provide. We can be stressed. We're going to keep going. And no one tells us to take a break. No, not genuinely. No.
Now, you can't say that I don't tell you to take a break.
No, but you tell me to take a break too much. But I'm just saying.
How's that? How is it too much?
We'll get that in a second. Let me finish my point so I don't lose my thought. So, women, it's okay to tell him to take a break too. And men of God, it's okay to take a break. Now, for me, my breaks, since we're there, my breaks when I get a chance to go into my den downstairs, put on my PlayStation 5. Yes, I have a PlayStation 5 that I barely use, but I have it. When I get to cut on my television and get lost in a movie for a couple of hours. When on a Sunday evening or maybe a Saturday, I can go get lost in the movie theaters for a few hours. That's how I disconnect. Now, when it comes to church, yes, there needs to be a balance, but I get energy, I get strength, and I get joy out of doing it. It's not like my job. It's what I get the privilege to do. And for those that on the outside looking in, but it's what I love to do. Not saying that time away isn't required. So I'm really looking forward to, after anniversary, us having a wonderful time with our church family, loving on them and them loving on us, and then not having service that Sunday, and they get a break, we get a break, and we'll suspend everything that week and just have a Sabbath week of rest and then come back at it. I'm looking forward to it. But I love my church, and I love my church family.
You get energized because you're operating in your gifting.
Yeah.
And when anybody operates in what they're gifted to do, usually that's what happens. They get energized. Yep. They're excited. Yep. They're happy.
Yep. Love it.
And that's just what it is.
And
so it doesn't feel like work to you because it's what you do.
It's what I do. So now from my job, on the other hand, I'm operating in my gift there too. But I look forward to disconnecting from my job versus my work. And so even with us, I love you. You know, it's what it is. But when you say, okay, now I need to know when your time away is so I can plan my schedule to be off that weekend. Yeah.
You don't need to be off when I'm off.
Yeah. No. You're going to be gone.
What's the point?
So I can be home and enjoy my house. You know, I might send Jordan somewhere and be in my home, go to the movies. I might go buy a grill and cook out and have you something waiting. But yeah, everybody needs, you know, something, right? And that's, you know, if you're going to be gone, I might as well take that time and just be free with you.
Okay. Whatever works for you.
Yeah, but I also think we need to I think you said it earlier, remind the people, and we're talking about needing a break, just taking some time. There's only one you.
Yeah.
You cannot be duplicated. You can't be replaced. The you, I'm talking about you and the you specifically. If it's on your job, they can find someone to do your job, but there'll never be anybody that can do the job like you did because it's not you. And I think in order to be who God would want us to be, I think we absolutely, Ellen, need to recognize, as Reverend Bobby Brown said, I need to get away. Right?
You so corny.
I know, but that was one of my favorite songs back in the day. And yes, I'm still saved. But it's the truth. It's the truth. So when is your next break?
Let's see. I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't think you want to tell me.
What you mean?
Because I'm going to take me some time
Let me
off.
see if Jay put something on my calendar.
Because if you gone, I'm going to go to Carowinds.
I mean, let me see.
By
I
myself.
feel like. Now, here's the thing, though. Because my next rest weekend, I was supposed to have one last weekend, but that didn't happen. The next scheduled one is the 12th, 13th, and 14th of October.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that off.
It's after Joshua's fall break. So
Okay.
it's going to be that weekend.
So I'll work that week, and then I'll make sure I'm off that weekend so I can send you off in style. I'm going to Carowinds or Six Flags.
That's supposed to be my rest weekend, that second week. And I think she scheduled them the second weekends. The second weekends of the month. Yeah.
I'm going to start doing mine the second weekends of the month.
Not all our second weekends, but some are.
But what I love, and guys, why I asked her to do that is because I need you all to hear that she's planning it.
Yeah.
She's planning it because even though you're making a break for it, you don't want to leave your home in shambles.
That's true. That's true.
You don't want to just shoot a message. I'll be back.
I think one of the biggest things for me is that, or I would encourage to start doing them before you even need them. Start taking the breaks before you feel like you need to take it.
So
like
it becomes a routine.
Yeah, just make it a thing. Just make it a routine. Just make it what you do as a part of, just self-care. It's almost like, when you go to the doctor for just a routine checkup, or you go to the dentist for your 6 month or your, 6 months checkup, right? You're going before there is a problem. You're going to get the test done before the doctor says you need medicine. You're going to, it's like a routine thing. So, where I am now, it's just like, I may not be frustrated. I may not be aggravated. I may not feel annoyed. But go before you even get there. Go for the rest. Go for the relaxation before you even get there. I mean, to be quite honest with you, like my daughter said to me, she was like, Mom, you work 7 days a week. Now, here's the crazy thing. I don't have a job that pays me, right? But between the things that I do at home, the things that I do in ministry and that type of thing, attempting to work my own business when I have the time, all of those things, it's just like a nonstop kind of 7 day a week. And she said to me, "You work 7 days," and they were just giggling and laughing like it was hilarious. She and Joshua, and she said, "The way I see it, you're being rebellious. God rested. Like, who are you? Pretty much." And I looked at her like,
Did she do her neck like
"You
that
got to
too?
get on out my face before you get the beat down." But I had to really think about it, and I was like, "Wow, you know what? You're not lying." So even though, even now, I think about it, being intentional about how I spend my time, and I know sometimes you can get kind of annoyed and frustrated with me because I want to kind of stick to a certain schedule. When I do things, it's only because um, I'm trying to have a specific time that I actually work, a time that I'm at home doing things, and then just a time for me to just kind of unwind and chill on a daily basis. So I'm trying to be more intentional even throughout the week when I work, how I work, and then the time that I do take that's just for me and for home. Because one of the things that's really important to me is making sure that home is still a peaceful home. I want to make sure that my laundry is done. I want to make sure that, the parts that we do live in the house look halfway decent when you come in the house. You know what I mean? Like, that is really, it's important to me. And, I want to make sure that I'm making time to get everything in as much as I possibly can. It ain't perfect. It ain't going to ever be perfect. But so I'm trying to respect and be a good steward over the time that God has given me. So
I think that's fine as long as it doesn't infringe on my time. So, for an example, just because you up at 5 in the morning, don't mean you have to come jump in the bed and wake me up.
I ain't bothering you at 5 o'clock. If I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, most times, 9 times out of 10, I'm in a different room.
8 times out of 10.
Reading and praying.
8 times out of 10, because 2 of them times you come get in the bed, be like, hey.
Occasionally, I do not wake you up like that. Unless you have to be up, PK.
I don't ever have to be up at 5 in the morning. I'm just finishing praying at 4. I said 8 out of 10, so that one of the 2 times last week you came, jump in the bed, come wrap your arm around me, hey, what you doing?
Anyway.
I said sleeping.
Anyway.
Or you cut all the lights on.
So anyway, I got to see. I have to see.
use the light on your cell phone.
I have to see.
If you had an Apple device, you'd have a.
No, we're not even going there about that now.
Oh, okay, you'd have a flashlight on your phone. But anyway, as we get ready to wrap this up, I think it's been a good discussion. Ellen, I want to give you a minute to really, because I made a little humor out of it, but this whole thing about finding balance for yourself is so important. It's important.
You even told me, and it still rings, in my ear often. You got to make sure that you're finding time to do things that you love. You got to make sure that you're finding time to do things that you love, And I hear you, but it's like, when? When am I going to do it? When? This past weekend, I had the opportunity to get in the kitchen and bake. And I was just in the kitchen like, this is what I've been missing. I'm like, I've been missing this. And that was just because of Auntie G's, birthday. So of course I had to do that. There was no option. I had to do that.
She baked up a ton of cookies, y'all.
Yeah. For my Auntie G's birthday.
Sure did. And from what I hear, they were tasty.
And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in the kitchen doing something that I personally love to do. So, that was refreshing for me. Even though, I was a little tired, but it was refreshing.
So like me with pastoring, right? I think it's important to kind of say this as well. needing a break doesn't always mean you're leaving the house either.
Yeah.
It could just mean I'm disconnecting from what I normally do
Mm-hmm.
for everybody else
Yeah.
and finding that time to do something that I love to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pour that into our oldest now that, you know what, you got a full-time job, you're in grad school, you've got actual work responsibilities. You've got to find something within these 7 days that you absolutely love to do that's for you, and you got to do it. Sometimes you got to do it tired, but you got to do it because when you get started, miraculously, the energy will come.
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't mean, okay, you know, wife, I'm going downtown and I'm going to stay down here tonight and I'll be back on Monday, or husband, I'll be back on Sunday. It could just mean, you know what, there's something downtown where I live that I love, and it goes on every week at the same time, and that 2 hours is for me. You may not remember this, but Apostle Hope used to say her time was in the bathroom when she would take her bath. Remember
Bubble
that?
bath, yeah.
Her bubble bath. She says, and they knew for however long she was in there not to bother
Don't bother me.
her.
Yeah.
And when I come out, I'm all yours.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy with their age now?
Yeah.
And she said that would be her time. So it could be something as simple as your nightly bath. That when you lock away in the bathroom, it's Calgon, take me away, and I'm in there from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Those 2 hours don't bother me.
Yeah. It's just that simple. You know, if I could give a few takeaways,
Yeah.
that may be helpful for some people. And I encourage a lot of some of the younger moms, you know, in ministry when they're really trying to, you know, kind of figure out or find their way, and get some kind of manage their time and get some time back for themselves. Because when you are a mom, you do give a lot. I mean, let's be honest, you know, your children, for those that, you know, if you have mom and dad in the home, 9 times out of 10, you know, the kids will go to dad. And this is just in my experience, kids will go to dad when they need something, when they need some money or something like that.
Or to get mama's influence.
But the emotional stuff, can you take me here? Can you do that? You know, they go into mama. You know, I tell my kids more than multiple times, you do realize you got another parent in the house, right? And I meant that, every bit of it. You got a daddy. Go talk to him. Go ask your daddy. To this day, I'm like, go talk to your daddy. Go ask your daddy. So, you know, one of the things that I highly encourage people to do to make time for yourself is to, you know, if you have to get up earlier, start your day a little earlier before you start it with everybody else. So, you know, if you can't go away, if you can't take those breaks, you know, just maybe you don't have that money, or you can't figure out, you know, a babysitter or something like that, get up while the kids are asleep earlier in the morning and just have some private time for yourself. Whether for me, it's in prayer, it's reading, you know, doing devotional. For me, it's a little worship. For me, it's reading a book. And that's just my own personal time. Then when husband gets up, kids, you know, whatever, I am not in such a old stinking mood, you know, because y'all annoying me and I haven't had any time to myself. Then in those times, it's when God encourages me in those quiet times. You know, he gives me just little words, little bits of encouragement, and I take my journal and I just write it down, and I'll go back and I'll read, you know, some of the things that he said, and, you know, just keeps me going throughout the day. So build that routine, that morning routine. And just like you said, you know, even if it's an evening routine, be intentional. All right. You know, after I get the dishes washed, 9:00, the bath is running, kids are in the bed, I'm going to have my quiet time.
That's right.
And I'm just going to chill out before, you know, it's time for me to get in the bed. Another thing I do too now is go for my morning walks. The morning walks have been very helpful for me.
Okay.
It's a time where I just, you know, get out of the house.
Yeah.
I'm away, whether it's 15, 20, or 30 minutes, and I'm just walking the neighborhood, getting some fresh air, getting some vitamin D and some sun, right? And I'll listen to some music or listen to some sort of, inspirational whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of have
That's
my
good.
time to myself. So those have been helpful. And those are things that I do on a daily basis to kind of keep me in a headspace. So I have to hype myself up.
Your own hype
Like
man.
David encouraged himself. I have to hype myself up, to do certain things throughout the day. So that's kind of how I make it and how I get through the day without, being so irritable and so annoyed with anything and everybody. And a lot of times we get irritable, we get annoyed when the people that God has blessed us with in our home, our husbands, our children, it's because we are doing so much and we're not taking back the time for ourselves. We're not being intentional about making time for ourselves. So even if you have to cut something out to make time for you, you just got to do what you have to do. A lot of times we'll add things onto our plate, but we never take something off of our plate. So if you're adding something, make sure to take something off. If the kids are playing one sport, then maybe maybe you can't be on the choir in this season. I don't know. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It's just kind of one of those things. Sometimes you just gotta, you gotta pick, the way the pros and the cons and figure out what's going to work. Because a lot of times we want to be everything in ministry and we want to do all of the things and we want to, we want, volunteer to year certificates and that type of thing. But if it's going to put a damper on your physical health, and if it's gonna, mess up what's going on in your house and your marriage, you gotta, what's
Not
more
worth it.
important? You know what I mean? Your kids still need you,
No
but they
matter
need
how
a
old they
good,
get.
a healthy you,
Oh, yeah.
Your husband, your wife need you, but they need a healthy you, not a stressed out you, not a annoyed and frustrated you, right?
And a nice you.
And a nice you, PK.
And a polite you.
A polite you. We talked about the fruit of the Spirit last night. Loving you, joyful you, a peaceful you,
A soft,
kind you, patient you.
a tender you.
Man, go ahead. Now you playing too
And that's not one of the fruits. Need you to be tender and ripe.
much. That don't even sound good, but okay.
Like a fruit from the tree.
Anyway,
Oh.
see, you just getting all the way
I
off.
was.
So,
I'm sorry. I got distracted,
Yeah.
y'all. I'm sorry.
I hope that was helpful.
I think that it was. You said partially what I was thinking towards the end before I started cutting up. And this is what I wanted to say. Some of you thrive on being everything to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
Only person that can be everything to everybody is God.
That's it. That's it.
And so if you thrive on that, there's going to come a time when all the people that need you won't.
Don't need you no more. That's right.
So you got to learn how to enjoy you.
Mm-hmm.
And you may think, I don't need a break. I don't need a break. You better learn,
Yeah.
because those kids are going to grow up.
Yeah.
Demands will change.
Mm-hmm.
And you've not learned how to be by yourself. You've not learned how to enjoy you. And I really believe this is where, Ellen, as we get ready to close out, this is where we hear this, I don't know who I am anymore is.
Yeah. It's true.
Well, you got to take the time.
It's true. It's true. Some of us, we don't even know, like, moms, what's your favorite food? What do you enjoy eating? Not just what does the family want you to cook.
Whatever you like.
You know
That's
what I mean?
what it turns
Like,
into,
it's just
right?
those types of things, because we are striving to please. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's
Nah.
nothing wrong with you as a wife wanting to, please your husband and do things
Nothing
for
wrong
your
with that.
children, that make them smile and that type of thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think, anybody that says anything different is crazy.
Yep.
I want my
capital
children to
C.
be, I want my husband to be happy. All those types of things. But at the end of the day, like you would say to me one time, and I never really understood, when I didn't stop and take time to go to the doctor when I didn't stop and take time to rest, or maybe go let somebody do my hair, or you would call me selfish. And I couldn't understand that. I was like, how is that being selfish? How is me saving you money being selfish? How is me, I just couldn't grasp that at all. And so tell me what you meant by that. You don't remember?
I feel like you set me up for something.
No. Because I want to hear it from you. Because maybe somebody else needs to hear.
When you wouldn't take the time to do things for yourself,
Yeah.
or to let people be a blessing to you,
Mm-hmm.
that is selfish.
How is that selfish?
Because you're rejecting blessing. You're rejecting the things that can help you be better. You're rejecting the things that can help you feel better. You're rejecting the things that, somebody may see what you're doing. Somebody may have been benefiting from what you're doing. And the way you get it back is to allow them to be a blessing to you. And when you're so selfish not to take time for you, we get you, but we don't get the best you. Mm-hmm. We don't get the God you. We don't get the Holy Spirit filled you. Mm-hmm. And so I just think I felt like it is selfish because you shared this one. We shared, and it may get kind of sensitive, so we may have to edit this out depending on how our reactions go.
Okay.
You would always say when, like, there was a time when you weren't feeling well, and the whole thing with your fiber and all of that other stuff, and you say you were so mean and you didn't understand, and I was not that I was mean, I was angry with you because you wouldn't take time to go to the doctor. You wouldn't take time. You wouldn't. Oh yeah,
you wouldn't. Sure about that?
I'm positive. You must not remember how you hated going to the doctor. You hated going to the dentist.
Yeah.
You hated doing anything that would put you in a position where somebody would poke, prod, check you. You hated it. You had such an aversion for it. And there were times that I knew, like, if she would just go to the doctor, if she would just go, but you would always get on me, well, you need to get checked, or you would make sure your children, well, my children are going to go to the dentist. They're going to be comfortable with the dentist. They're going to go to, and here you were, and you wouldn't do it for yourself. And so a lot of that just came out, from my perspective, because you were uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah.
You were sicker.
Mm-hmm.
You were worse off.
Mm-hmm.
Because you wouldn't do these things until things got horribly bad.
Mm-hmm. And
you couldn't be your best self. And I got to tell you, wives, we men have not all, some of us have a non-healthy way of expressing our worry and concern. And sometimes it comes through frustration and anger, especially when we voiced it, but you're not listening. And so seeing you sickly, seeing you weak, seeing you not at your best, seeing you in certain pains, and you just did not want to go to the doctor. You didn't want to do this, or seeing things that were going on here. And I would be like, well, Nicole, I know this has happened to you, but you need to trust somebody to help you. And you wouldn't do it. And in my mind, that is the most selfish thing you can do, because in my mind, you are more concerned about the temporary discomfort versus seeing the long-term blessing for you. And so, yeah,
some of it was discomfort, and some of it was also feelings of, I don't know if it was, I didn't feel like I deserved it. Again, going back to, I'm not bringing any money in the house or contributing to the, household resources. I don't want to be an extra burden on what we may not already have. So yeah, sometimes even now, it's like, do you want? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because there's still a little bit of that, that I have to work through.
So this is gonna go off top. So let's help. I want to help somebody here. If you are a SAM, SAHM, a stay-at-home mom.
Say stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom.
At home.
I want you to understand, if you and your husband, if your husband and you have come to the decision that having you in the home is the best thing that you can do for your family. There should be no condemnation or no feelings of what I'm not bringing to the table financially if you both have made that decision. Now, this is going to come across aggressive. I don't need you to worry about what I'm trying to give you because you're not the one whose back is hurting to earn it. So if $100 on an already strained income is going to allow you the ability to go sit in someone's chair for 2 hours, to rub your head, to press your hair, to grease your scalp so you can look in the mirror and love how you look and have had a break, why are you feeling some type of way about it? You shouldn't. So I just want to say things are going to be what things are going to be, but they are. So, you know, it's what it is. Now, for us, you just got to make me some pancakes, cook me some spaghetti dinner, fry me some chicken, rub my feet every now and again, and we good. But if I'm offering, all you got to say is yes. Y'all, she just gained 5 more years back on her life. I'm looking at her. That shadow is leaving you. So I just like to throw that out there. It's in your court. Since I opened up, I'll let you close it out.
Yeah, we'll close it out after we cut the after we turn this off, because we need to have a further discussion on this.
Oh Lord,
we'll do that off the air.
I knew this was a setup.
No, ain't no setup. How's it a setup?
I don't know, because my back itching, so I feel like something coming.
Well, anyways.
I ain't got no money.
I ain't asking for none either.
Guys, we hope that, yeah, he is your provider. Amen. We praise God for the fact that you can work with your hands and bake cookies and bake cakes and sell jewelry and dig ditches and all of that stuff. So we praise God for it. Amen. Amen. But we ain't never been hungry. Even when we had meatless spaghetti, we ain't never been hungry. Well, I was hungry the other night, but that was because I had to change my diet because I gained weight. But that's another conversation. So listen, we hope this first episode in season 2 has blessed you guys. We hope that you laughed, smiled, thought, processed, all of that stuff. I can't wait for the next episode. It's going to be amazing. So, Lady Nicole, any closing comments?
No, I just, when you need your break, take a break, or take the break before you even need it. God even rested. And so who are we that we shouldn't do the same thing? We are to even, honor the Sabbath, right? Keep it holy. Take your rest. Get your rest. It's okay. It's okay to rest. PK preached a message long time ago, the blessing of no. Sometimes you have to, say no, I'm sorry, no, I can't, or no, not today, no, I can't get that done today, just so that you can, have peace of mind and you can be at rest. And it's not a permanent thing. It's just so you can come back into the family. You can come back home and be a blessing to those that are depending on you to be there for them. So we love our kids, we love our husbands and all of that, but you still are an individual. So get you some rest, friend.
Individual that's part of a whole.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I want my whole to be whole.
Amen.
God. That was good right there.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows when you came back the last time, you was a blessing. You was a blessing from on high. I thank God for my blessings.
I'm always a blessing.
Yeah, you was a better blessing.
Whatever.
Thank you, Jesus. Glory to God.
Cut it. Just cut it.
Just cut it. All right, guys, listen. It's been our pleasure to be with you on today. Tune in again. In a week, should have a new episode up for you. Oh, that's when we'll be going on vacation.
Don't promise that.
So tune in 2 weeks, but replay this over and over again. Share it out. Put it on your timelines. If you're on Facebook, you can share it there so people can log in. Do whatever is necessary to get this content out. We really want to just be a blessing to people by sharing our thoughts, emotions, and feelings about things that we've gone through and discovered over these past 27 years. This is, once again, Pastor Kelvin and
Lady Nicole.
coming from a Built to Last podcast. Until we speak. Peace abide.